Hi, guys. Hey, it's Grandpa again, and I am reading this again. And again, this is just a reminder that I'm reading these just for you. It's the Book of Mormon, and it's just nothing to do with the um, come follow me at all. I'm just reading the Book of Mormon chapters through, adding a little bit of commentary. I don't know a whole lot, so I'm not going to add a whole lot. It, I'm reading it just for you, Maya, McKay, Allie, Kayla, Corinne, also Scott, and Scooter, uh, Aya, and Liam and Emmy, and of course Haley and Andy and Poppy and all you guys. Um, I love you very much. I'm just reading these just so it might maybe help supplement your reading of the Book of Mormon. It's definitely not to um, replace or anything like that. The come follow me that the church has. But we're in chapter 16, and Nephi's seen his vision, the vision his father saw, and Nephi has expounded on it to his brethren because they asked. So he explained it out to them. And then um, I just want to make sure we're recording this. And whenever we get done, I'll maybe edit a little bit out. So anyway, just so you know, we're reading the Book of Mormon, First Nephi, chapter 16. The wicked take the truth to be hard. Lehi's sons marry the daughters of Ishmael. The Liahona guides their course in the wilderness. Messages from the Lord are written on the Liahona from time to time. Ishmael dies. His family murmurs because of afflictions. This is about 600 BC. All right. And this is verse 1. And now it came to pass that after I, Nephi, had made an end of speaking to my brethren, behold, they said unto me, Thou hast declared unto us hard things, more than we are able to bear. And it came to pass that I said unto them that I knew that I had spoken hard things against the wicked, according to the truth. And the righteous have I justified, and testified that they should be lifted up at the last day. Wherefore the guilty taketh the truth to be hard, for it cutteth them to the very center. Now, my brethren, if ye were righteous, and were willing to hearken to the truth, and give heed unto it, that ye might walk uprightly before God, then ye would not murmur because of the truth, and say, Thou speakest hard things against us. And again, and it came to pass that I, Nephi, did exhort my brethren with all diligence to keep the commandments of the Lord. Um, I wonder sometimes, whenever I've had experiences or heard things from the stake president or the bishop, I was like, boy, that sure is tough. If I should have thought back and thought about, am I being like Layman and Lemuel and saying it's hard because of me? And um, I just think and pray and then remember that I want to be humble. It's like he says in verse 5, and it came to pass that they did humble themselves before the Lord, insomuch that I had joy and great hopes of them that they would walk in the paths of righteousness. In other words, keep the commandments. Now all these things were said and done as my father dwelt in a tent in the valley which he called Lemuel. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, took one of the daughters of Ishmael to wife, and also my brethren took of the daughters of Ishmael to wife, and also Zoram took the eldest daughter of Ishmael to wife, the ugly one. No, I was kidding. I'm just joking. I don't know that. But she was the oldest one. She wasn't married yet. So I'm just kidding. But what Nephi says about it is that thus my father had fulfilled all the commandments of the Lord which had been given unto him. And also I, Nephi, had been blessed of the Lord exceedingly. So I kind of took it like that's kind of what he was saying about his wife, that he was blessed exceedingly. He didn't say that about Zoram. Just joking. Anyway, in verse 9, and it came to pass that the voice of the Lord spake unto my father by night, and commanded him that on the morrow he should take his journey into the wilderness. And it came to pass as my father arose in the morning and went forth to the tent door, to his great astonishment he beheld upon the ground a round ball of curious workmanship, and it was of fine brass, and within the ball were two spindles, and one pointed the way whither we should go into the wilderness. And it came to pass that we did gather together whatsoever things we should carry into the wilderness, and all the remainder of our provisions which the Lord had given unto us, and we did take seed of every kind that we might carry into the wilderness. And it came to pass that we did take our tents and depart into the wilderness across the river Laman. And it came to pass that we traveled for the space of 4 days, nearly a south-southeast direction. Um, and we did pitch our tents again, and we did call the name of the place Shazer, which I think he liked that name. I think he thought it was pretty cool. And it came to pass that we did take our bows and our arrows and go forth into the wilderness to slay food for our families. And again, after we had slain food for our families, we did return again to our families in the wilderness to the place of Shazer. You got to say it one more time. And we did go forth again in the wilderness, following the same direction, keeping in the most fertile parts of the wilderness, which were in the borders near the Red Sea. And it came to pass that we did travel for the space of many days, slaying food by the way with our bows and our arrows and our stones and our slings. And we did follow the directions of the ball, which led us in the more fertile parts of the wilderness. And after we had traveled for the space of many days, we did pitch our tents for the space of a time, that we might again rest ourselves and obtain food for our families. And it came to pass that as I, Nephi, went forth to slay food, behold, I did break my bow, which was made of fine steel. Now his bow was made out of fine steel. Again, it goes back to my theory that Nephi was some kind of metal worker. I'm sure he did a lot of stuff, knew how to do everything, but I think that's what his profession sort of. He's probably some kind of a smith, blacksmith or something. And after I did break my bow, behold, my brethren were angry with me because of the loss of my bow, for we did obtain no food. It came to pass we did return without food to our families, and being much fatigued because of their journeying, they did suffer much for the want of food. And it came to pass that Laman and Lemuel and the sons of Ishmael did begin to murmur exceedingly because of their sufferings and afflictions in the wilderness. And also my father began to murmur against the Lord his God. Yea, and they were all exceedingly sorrowful, even that they did murmur against the Lord. Now it came to pass that I, Nephi, having been afflicted with my brethren because of the loss of my bow, and their bows having lost their spring, it began to be exceedingly difficult, yea, insomuch that we could obtain no food. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did speak much unto my brethren, because they had hardened their hearts again, even unto complaining against the Lord their God. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, did make out of wood a bow, and out of a straight stick an arrow. Wherefore I did arm myself with a bow and an arrow, with a sling and with stones. And I said unto my father, whither shall I go to obtain food? So you got to remember this kind of story. They were all kind of murmuring against the Lord. Nephi said some stuff, probably quoted some scriptures like, hey, he will provide a way. Then he made a bow, made himself an arrow. And then his father had been complaining, must have been humbled when his son walked up to him and said, whither shall I go to obtain food? Like, that's kind of your job. You're the prophet. You're supposed to be pointing us in the directions. So, in 24, and it came to pass that he did inquire of the Lord, for they had humbled themselves because of my words, for I did say many things unto them in the energy of my soul. And it came to pass the voice of the Lord came unto my father, and he was truly chastened because of his murmuring against the Lord, insomuch that he was brought down into the depths of sorrow. I don't think he'd been praying his prayers enough. Are we all saying our morning prayers, our evening prayers, and saying our prayers with our family? Help remind your mom and dad too if you need to, or say them yourself. In verse 26, and it came to pass that the voice of the Lord said unto him, look upon the ball, and behold, the things which are written. It came to pass when my father beheld the things which are written upon the ball, he did fear and tremble exceedingly, and also my brethren and the sons of Ishmael and their wives. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, he wasn't trembling at all. Behold, I'm sorry, it came to pass that I, Nephi, beheld the pointers which were in the ball, that they did work according to the faith and diligence and heed which we did give unto them. And there was also written upon the ball a new writing, which was plain to be read, which did give us understanding concerning the ways of the Lord. And it was written and changed from time to time, according to the faith and diligence which we gave unto it. And thus we see that by small means the Lord can bring about great things. So now, why do you think the church named the church magazine, which has the words of the prophets in it, the Liahona? It's the same name as the ball. Verse 30, and it came to pass that I, Nephi, did go forth up into the top of the mountain, according to the directions which were given upon the ball. And it came to pass that did slay wild beasts, insomuch that I did obtain food for our families. And it came to pass that I did return to our tents, bearing the beasts which I had slain. And now, when they beheld that I had obtained food, how great was their joy! And it came to pass that they did humble themselves before the Lord, and did give thanks unto him. And it came to pass that we did again take our journey, traveling nearly the same course as in the beginning. And after we had traveled for the space of many days, we did pitch our tents again, that we might tarry for the space of a time. And it came to pass that Ishmael died, and was buried in the place which was called Nahom. And it came to pass that the daughters of Ishmael did mourn exceedingly because of the loss of their father, and because of their afflictions in the wilderness. And they did murmur against my father, because he had brought them out of the land of Jerusalem, saying, our father is dead. Yea, and we have wandered much in the wilderness, and we have suffered much affliction, hunger, thirst, and fatigue. And after all these sufferings, we must perish in the wilderness with hunger. And thus they did murmur against my father, and also against me. And they were desirous to return again to Jerusalem. And Laman said unto Lemuel, and also unto the sons of Ishmael, behold, let us slay our father, and also our brother Nephi, who has taken it upon him to be our ruler and our teacher, who are his elder brethren. Now he says that the Lord has talked with him, and also that angels have ministered unto him. But behold, we know that he lies unto us, and he tells us these things, that he worketh many things by his cunning arts, that he may deceive our eyes, thinking perhaps that he may lead us away into some strange wilderness. And after he has led us away, he has thought to make himself a king and a ruler over us, that he may do with us according to his will and pleasure. And after this manner did my brother Laman stir up their hearts to anger. And it came to pass that the Lord was with us, yea, even the voice of the Lord came, and did speak many words unto them, and did chasten them exceedingly. And after they were chastened by the voice of the Lord, they did turn away their anger, and did repent of their sins, insomuch that the Lord did bless us again with food, that we did not perish. So the Lord even had mercy on Laman and Lemuel whenever they repented. And I say these things in the name